Good evening. Good evening. So we're going to get started here shortly. This is going to be a relatively short stream. So if you're on, if you could just share. I'm going to wait a while before I actually lean into this all of the way. Where is the banner? All right. So go ahead and share. This is the kitchen cabinet. So hopefully you all will be joining here soon. I'm going to get up for a second. All right. So I'm going to do this for the recording because this is an awkward time to be on live. So for the recording purposes, welcome to the kitchen cabinet. The kitchen cabinet is the new installment, the elevated format. Instead of Pretty Petty Politics, we will be transitioning to the kitchen cabinet. Same type of information and guests where we focus on culture, food, and politics. So as you see, I'm in the kitchen. I have a love for food. I've written my own recipe book, but politics, y'all know I love politics. And in our community, in the Black community, and maybe it's true for other communities, but I've been Black my whole life, so I really can't tell you about other people's communities. But in our communities, there's such a rich conversation that is birthed through the kitchen. We discuss everything in our kitchens. That's the heart of the home, which is probably true for most cultures, but it is the heart of the home. And so on the kitchen cabinet, we will be talking about or discussing issues related to the culture. That's why you see me wearing my Kung Fu Kenny for Kendrick Lamar. That's why you see me wearing this shirt, because that's the culture. You see me in the kitchen, the food. I got my food out so I can prepare my lunch for this week. But also we talk politics. And so tonight I'm going to briefly, or try to keep it brief, probably 30 minutes, a discussion around what is taking place with Congressional District 18, which was previously held until July 19th. It was held by the late Congresswoman Sheila Jackson Lee, who passed away from pancreatic cancer. All right. So because of that, hold on. Oh, because of her untimely death, she was let me back up. She was the nominee, the Democratic nominee for Congressional District 18, which she has held for nearly 30 years. So she was the nominee that is on the ballot for November's general election. Because of her death, the Harris County Democratic Party, which is where Congressional District 18 is situated, Harris County Democratic Party will hold a special nomination process. So on yesterday, there was a forum with some of the candidates, not all of them, but some of the candidates for that office. And so I'm going to talk about that forum. I'm also going to talk about the next steps. So one of the next steps is on Tuesday. So in 2 days, on Tuesday, there will be a nomination process. And that nomination process, I want to make sure we have the right banner up. That nomination process will be at Willard Avenue Baptist Church at 6 p.m. I would encourage you to get there early to get a seat. If you are not a precinct chair, and I'm going to talk about precinct chairs, and then I'm going to get into, so I'm going to talk about Tuesday, and then I'm going to get into what happened yesterday and what I think should happen on Tuesday, and the next steps as far as Congressional District 18 and where it goes in the future. So y'all hold me to that. So on Tuesday, precinct chairs. So precinct chairs, so all of the voting precincts in Congressional District 18 have or should have a precinct chair. There are 200, I want to say 243, let's just say over 200. That's easy. Over 200 precincts in Congressional District 18. Of that 200 plus, about 88 of them, 88, you do the math, about 88 of them will decide who gets that nomination for that seat, this vacant seat, whose name will go on the ballot in November for the general election. Now, let me stop. There's a general election and there is a special election. We're going to talk about the special election later. So you see, I got my ring on this hand. So when I put this hand back up, we talk about special election. Ring, special election. No ring, we talking about general election. So for the general election, they will go on the ballot for that. And they will have a 2-year term beginning January of 2025 and ending December of 2026. Of which in 2026, they will likely run again for office in that November general election, which is what we call a midterm election. Okay, so during that midterm election in 2 years, whoever gets this seat this November in the general election will probably be running again. Okay, I want to make sure that I iron this out. You hear people talk about midterm elections. Midterm elections are a big deal because a lot of people sleep on them. And so people get to skate. You know how when you playing spades and you're not paying attention, somebody skate with like just like an offsuit. And you're like, oh, I didn't realize they was cutting that. Yeah. So yes, I did just reference spades, but you don't want nobody to skate through because you're not paying attention. And that's what happens a lot of times in these midterm elections. Voting is already low. Voting is terribly low, terribly. I'm gonna have to do a show about that. But voting numbers, like the everybody got an opinion about voting, but they're not showing up to the polls. All right. And so because of that, it's even lower during midterm elections. During general elections, when there's a presidential race, the numbers are higher. But 2 years after that, the numbers drop. But why is that so important to pay attention to the midterm elections? Because our federal government, 2 branches of our federal government are elected, the legislature and the executive, which is the president, right? So Congress and the president are elected, but they both play a role on who participates in the judicial branch as a federal judge or Supreme Court justice. Okay. So great question. I'm going to come to that, Damien. So they participate, the legislature and the president, they determine who gets to sit on the federal bench, not the other B word, but bench, for a lifetime. So that until they die, retire, are incapacitated, or if they're removed, which is a whole nother story, which is not an easy task, especially I don't even think that's applicable to the Supreme Court. However, the federal courts, now a lot of people just think federal courts, they think Supreme Court, and baby, you are missing out on the whole thing if you cannot focus on the federal courts, because the federal courts set precedents that impact us every single day. A federal court decision in a Wyoming federal court could impact all of us. And we don't live in Wyoming. Why? Because it's a federal decision, right? So they can set precedents, they can pause things. So it's really important. That's a whole nother show. I'm not going to get too deep into it. But the point of this part of the conversation is it matters who we elect to Congress because Congress plays a role in, particularly the Senate, plays a role in who gets those confirmations. Okay. So I want to make sure that we understand why midterm elections are so important, but also how people skate. They skate through because voters are not turning out. So, first, the nomination selection for Congressional District 18 is Tuesday, August 13th. And as you saw earlier, let me put that ticker back up there. This will be held at Wheeler Avenue Baptist Church in the heart of Third Ward, where Pastor Marcus D. Cosby is senior pastor. All right. Because, you know, we all love Wheeler. We love to hear Pastor Cosby say, and the Bible says. Okay. So hopefully that woke you up. All right. So Tuesday, where we're going to be? We're going to be at Wheeler Avenue. Now, I am a resident of Congressional District 18. You may be a resident of Congressional District 18. You may be a business owner. You may have family there. You may be an alumni of one of the universities that are in that district, or whatever. Most of us have spent a lot of time in Congressional District 18. Okay. It is pretty much covers the major Black neighborhoods in our city. All right. And other neighborhoods. Okay. Including the Heights and other parts. Right. So Congressional District 18, how can I put this? Congressional District 18 is up for grabs. I'm just going to say it like that. Now, why would I say it like that? Because it's up for grabs because we, the voters, the residents, do not get to vote on who the nominee is. Although we did vote in March, or you should have. So on March 5th, you should have participated in the primary. And in the primary, it was Amanda Edwards and the late Congresswoman Sheila Jackson Lee. Those were the two candidates in March. Sheila Jackson Lee prevailed, as it has been her seat for nearly 30 years. Amanda Edwards, she did not win. Okay. Now, some would say, well, she was already in the race and she got second place. So why not just let Amanda have it? I mean, some voters did actually vote for her, right? Whereas these other candidates that we will be meeting, if you have not already watched the forum that was shared on this page yesterday from the public forum where they, or debate, and it was a forum, it wasn't a debate, where they talked about certain different issues, they were not in that race. One of them was, but he stepped out of the race, and that was Mr. Slater, Robert Slater. He stepped out of the race, as he stated in his own words yesterday, something along the lines of he stepped out of the way and helped usher the Congresswoman to victory. Okay, he said something along those lines. I don't want to direct quote him, but you can go back and listen to it on YouTube or here on our Facebook page for sure, but on the Fox 26 YouTube page, because they are the one who broadcast that live on Saturday, August the 10th. All right. So you have Amanda Edwards. Now you have Robert Slater. He's back in there. And you have Mayor Sylvester Turner, who is our immediate past mayor of Houston. You have Christina Morales, who is a state representative. You have Jarvis Johnson, who's a former state representative, who left his seat to run for state senate, and he was defeated in a runoff. But also, he's an elected official. He has served in various capacities, as has Amanda. She used to be a city councilwoman. I'm going to talk about them each a little bit more, but I want to get their names out, so I have them out. You also have Carisha Rogers, who is a community organizer who works for the Harris County Democratic Party. Who has an extensive record. I've been looking her up. I've been looking at a lot of these people, even making phone calls, because I'm a fair person. I want to understand. I don't want to just have an opinion. I want to be informed, so that when I inform you all, I'm doing so genuinely. Okay. Having said that, let's keep going. We have Cortland Whitcliffe. I may be mispronouncing his name, Cortland Whitcliffe. Those are the candidates we met yesterday. There are a lot more candidates, and let me just share where you can find where those candidates are. Right here for more information. So that's on the ticker. If somebody could just drop that in the chat, that would be perfect. But if not, it's on the ticker. So when you go back, you can just type it in your search engine. Anyway, it's the Harris County Democrats page, and you just look for Congressional District 18 nominees, yada yada, and it'll show you. It'll have like a form that the party had them fill out along with their resume and their headshot. Okay, so you can get information about these candidates there as well. So I'm not going to go deep into it. I'm going to give you the tool so you can go deep. So what's going to happen Tuesday? On Tuesday, I'm going to leave this up for a little bit long. Well, yeah, I'll leave it up for a little bit longer. But on Tuesday, what's going to happen is your precinct chairs who are elected officials, we do vote for them. They're at the very bottom of your ballot. So if you do not vote your whole ballot, like a lot of people do, they just hit the couple of ones at the top. They like, this taking too long, and they leave. And it really don't take that long, you guys. You really could take your time, and you could partner or subscribe. That's what you do. You subscribe to this page. Even though this page is going to change, you still subscribe to this page because you'll get alerts. So when we transition fully into the kitchen cabinet, you will know, but also so that you will have a reputable and dependable resource to give you information. All right. So precinct chairs, again, they're at the lower end of your ballot. You may have heard people tell you politics is local. Politics are very local. They are, politics are at your front door. Politics are in your neighborhood. It's not just what's happening in Washington, D.C. Your precinct chairs make decisions like the decision that will be made on Tuesday that directly impact you as a voter. So when you vote for a precinct chair, you're voting for them to make decisions for you. Just like when you vote for someone to go represent you in Congress, you're voting for them to be your voice in that space. Well, with precinct chairs, you're doing the same. So here in Congressional District 18, because the Congresswoman passed away unexpectedly, whether she passed away before the election or after the election, we would still, well, let me not say that. Because she passed away before the election, the party has to come up with a nominee to go on the ballot. That nominee is voted on by the precinct chairs. The precinct chairs, again, they represent you, the voters, in matters such as this. Now, do they do more? Yes. And you can find out more about precinct chairs right here. All right. So how to contact your precinct chair. So the reason why I put how to contact your precinct chair, because I want you to go out and find out who yours is. So if you go to precinctprogress.com and then /find-my-precinct/ and fill out that form, it will produce for you the contacts, right? It will tell you where your precinct is. It'll tell you who your precinct chair is, right? So you want to utilize that tool to find out who that person is, or if it's a vacancy, as a lot of them are from my understanding, right? So the precinct chairs on Tuesday, they will decide. They will decide, not us, not the voters, not the residents of Congressional District 18, but they will decide, as they were elected to do, even though it hurt my little feelings, but as they were elected to do, they will decide. Now, some people say, well, they're not going to decide in fairness. They won't take your phone calls, or they're not going to listen. They just going to play favoritism and vote for their friend or whoever paying them, or yada, yada, yada. I don't know. I'm not a precinct chair. I don't know how they're going to vote. I just know when and where they will. They will vote on Tuesday, August 13th at Willow Avenue Baptist Church at 6 p.m. You need to be there. You need to be there on time. Bring a snack. I'm not going to share my snacks with you. I'm going to share it with who comes in the vehicle with me. That'll be it. But you want to make sure that you're informed and that you're there. The precinct chairs will decide whoever they decide on. I'm going to give you my opinion shortly, but whomever they decide on, their name will appear as the Democratic nominee for Congressional District 18. The Republican candidates for that seat was selected during the Republican primary back on March 5th. Okay. So Sheila Jackson Lee was a Democratic nominee for that seat. She passed away last month, just a couple of weeks ago. And so on Tuesday, the precinct chairs, the Harris County Democratic precinct chairs and in Congressional District 18 will select. Now, some of y'all are like, I know all of this. Why are you going over this? Because everybody else don't. Some of us are really tapped in, but a lot of people aren't. And this is an opportunity for us to share. All right. So that will happen Tuesday. Now, we as voters, what we can do, residents of Congressional District 18, we can go to that website. Let me put it back up. You go to this website. You can find out who the precinct chairs are. You can probably go to Congressional District 18's website. Let me see. No, it doesn't have a list. But you go to that website, you can look it up, right? You can probably contact Harris County Democratic Party and ask for the list. You probably can call them. Their number is 713. Somebody put this in the chat. 713-802-0085. You can call them and ask, is there a list, and request that to be emailed to you. But yes, and Lachelle is a precinct chair. I'm put you on the screen there. All right. So that's good information to know, right? So they'll decide on Tuesday. Once they decide, that person will appear on the ballot in November, and you will vote determining who you want to be, whether it's the Republican nominee or the Democratic nominee for Congressional District 18. And that's who will go on. Whoever wins will go on in January. They will begin the job, and they will represent you for 2 years, maybe longer. Okay, we'll get into that. Now, the other side is the special election. That's why I said follow the ring for the special, because, it's a ring, right? Special is different from this hand, right? So for the special election, you, and I'm going to go over this quick. For the special election, you're going to have any resident. Lachelle, help me with this, because it really bothers me. Basically, there's a deadline. I don't have it in front of me. I forgot to do that. But there's a deadline that's coming up. If you're interested in running for Congressional District 18, you're a resident of the state of Texas. Hello. You can run for Congressional District 18 in the special election. So the special election is, thank you, Lachelle, August 22nd. So you have to file by August 22nd with the Secretary of State. Okay. That person will be elected. Well, let me back up. On election day, when we go for the general election, there will also be a special election specifically for Congressional District 18. The people who meet the requirements and submit properly to the Secretary of State by the deadline, August 22nd. Let me hide that. By August 22nd, they will be able to appear on that special election ballot. Okay. Now, what's going to happen is the floodgates are already open. It's a million and gazillion people running. I was asked on air last week. The answer is no, unless the Lord himself come tap me on the shoulder while I'm in bed and be like, girl, get up and submit your name. He's not going to do that, because he's already given me what my assignment is, what I need to be focused on. So y'all can stop telling me what I need to do. The Lord has already told me what I'm going to do. So I'm focusing on those things. Those are my goals. Howsoever, I don't know your relationship with the Lord, what he told you or what whomever told you. But if you choose to run for this office, you can, as long as you get your stuff in on time. So during the special election on November 5th, what's going to happen is no one's going to get majority of the votes. I would bet you a 3-piece meal from French's that no one is going to get the majority of the votes. A 3-piece with a red soda and 2 peppers. nobody is going to get the majority of the votes on for that special election. And because of that, there will be a runoff election on December 7th. And then those two people, the people with the two people with the highest percentage of votes, it doesn't matter if there's like large a large separation in the number of votes they got. If they're the two highest and neither of them got the majority, they will face off in a runoff probably on or about the 7th of December. And whoever wins that will serve till the end of December. So they will pretty much have arguably a ceremonial title of member of Congress. They will legitimately be an elected member of Congress. Do not get me wrong. Do not get me wrong. Because I said last week, if it was me, I would do all I can in them 3 weeks. Plus, I'd be off from work for majority of that because it's the holidays. I wouldn't be in the classroom lecturing. But the things that I would do, I would try to get some stuff done real quick. And plus, I know y'all would be asking for inauguration tickets. So whoever you're going to be, I'm going to be hitting you up for inauguration tickets, whether you're the special election Congress member or the full one. I need them tickets, bruh, sis, cuz, okay? And you can't play favorites. Just, take care of your constituents. All right. So anyway, but they're not going to really have time to do much because it will be a holiday break probably. But they will go down in history having been a member of the 118th Congress, probably with an asterisk next to their names because they will only have served for less than 30 days. Okay, so we got past that. We got the special election. Lachelle, how did I do with that? Any more I need to share on that? Did I cover it all? Did I get it all? Because I know what y'all here for. Y'all here to see who my choice is if I had a vote. All right, so I'm waiting for Lachelle to tell me that I got it all covered. So let's see here. Once again, you're at the kitchen cabinet. I am happy to be here with you. We're going to talk about Congressional District 18 tonight. I'm not going to go into the whole thing about voter registration, education, and all of that. I'm going to focus strictly on Congressional District 18 because I want us to get in and out of here. It's already 9:12. I said about 30 minutes. It looked like I'm going to go to 9:30. Let's hold to that. Hopefully it won't be more than an hour. I'm definitely going to do a hard stop if it gets to 9:45, but because I got to fix my lunch for the week. Let's see here. So I already told you what's happening Tuesday. So the nomination selection is Tuesday, the 13th. So let's talk about yesterday. On yesterday, there was a forum held. The forum was held at Young Women's College Preparatory School in the heart of Third Ward, and it was a packed house. Well, at least the first floor was packed. I went upstairs real quick because I left my mask in the car. I didn't have a bottle of water, and it was congested to me. It was too many people, and I don't play with Miss COVID because she's still out in them streets. But I sat upstairs on the balcony, and I had a really, really great seat to the. Someone announced that the balcony was open, and then other people came up, but not too many people. So we really were spaced out very comfortably. Anyway, because I am really trying to just hold off on going all the way in. Let me go ahead and lean in. So yesterday, that forum was held. It was pretty good, I did feel like there was some shade thrown, not just amongst the candidates, but some of the questions were shady, one in particular. So I'm gonna get into it. So of the candidates, so I don't have to talk about everybody. If you want to know my thoughts on everyone, just say yes in the chat and I'll go through them because I do have my notes. But there are some that I really want to focus on. So let's start with who I call the heir apparent. The heir apparent is Amanda. The heir apparent, H-E-I-R, apparent, meaning that's who I expect to have gotten this, simply because she's the only one who ran for it that's still living, that is in this race that I know of. I might be wrong because I'm not always right, and I'll be the first to admit that. Nevertheless, I feel like Amanda has done her fair share of groundwork in pursuit of this role. I'm not saying that she deserves it, but I'm just saying in pursuit of it, she has fashioned herself in a way that she's been doing a lot of the work. Not to say no one else has. I'm just speaking on Amanda right now, right? So part of me, and I talk to people from all over the country. People are watching this race. People are very in tune with what happens in Houston, particularly with Congressional District 18, because people have such a admiration and respect for the Congresswoman, and people love Houston, and they understand that that's Houston's seat. That's Black Houston's seat. Okay, so I was talking to a friend about this race on the day of the funeral, not the other smaller events, but the actual funeral on that Thursday. Let me make sure my computer put a charger on it just to make sure it's where it needs to be. Okay. All right. So I was talking to my friend, and they were like, well, why do you think people won't vote for Amanda? Why do you think Amanda won't get it? I'm like, because Amanda has not been shown to be electable since she left City Hall. That's not any shade to Amanda. Those are the facts. Because if she was the candidate, I would vote for her happily, right? So I understand the argument that people have, and I can't be in my feelings. In law school, they teach you the law has no feelings. So politics definitely ain't got no feelings. Well, politics actually has feelings. Politics just shady. They don't care. They feel how they feel, but they don't care how you feel. That's how politics are. But anyway, the law has no feelings. So, we talked about Amanda. I shared some of the things that that have been shared with me from community members through conversations. And I always make sure that I speak to people from various socioeconomics, various professions, various age groups, because I want to have kind of an idea of how the community is feeling. Now, I also make sure I'm talking to people from the North Side, whether that's in the different parts of the North Side. Let me be clear. So I might be talking to somebody in Fifth Ward, someone in Acres Home, someone in the Heights. I also go to Third Ward, Sunnyside. Like, I'm talking to people because I want to engage with them and really hear what they're saying. So I'm sharing this with my friend. I'm like, people see her, but they also don't feel like she's genuine. And that kind of hurts my feelings, because I think she is genuine. But and this is why I say it was kind of shady yesterday, because one of the questions yesterday was directed to Amanda. It was her question. And it basically said, you jump around from seat to seat, running from seat to seat ever since. You have jumped around since leaving City Hall, jumping from seat to seat, running, and you're not winning. How do we know that this is what you really want? Now, did I like the tone of the question? No. But did I understand it? Was it a fair question? It was. It just sounded a little shady. But it was a fair question. And it's true. It's true. She has. So in 2020, this is when you pull out your phone and you pull out your notes. So in 2020, she ran for U.S. Senate against John Cornyn, right? She ran against Senator John Cornyn, who's our senior senator. I know everybody knows Ted Cruz, but John Cornyn is the senior one. And if you're not familiar with him, he's a former attorney general for the state of Texas as well. That's what he did prior to running for Senate. So anyway, she ran against him. She had this national profile. All the Black publications were featuring her. I have friends who did fundraisers for her across both East Coast, down South. Like, people really believed in her and were pouring money into her campaign. But locally, the reach, the connection just wasn't connecting. I believe people voted for her because, we're going to vote for those who know her. But I also think some people just did not think that she was going to get it. And so they didn't vote for her. And it didn't matter party lines. And I know that sucks, but I'm just going to keep it 100 with you because people have told me so. Now, so Amanda ran in 2020 for Senate. in 2022/23, because you kind of start running early. She ran for mayor of Houston. Now, when she was running for mayor of Houston, I was really excited. It was her and Chris Hollins. And if you know me, you know I was geeked, because some people are like, well, they don't have no experience. Well, no, nobody had no experience till they get the job. Hello, somebody. Hello, lights. All right. But I get it. They were saying they didn't have the experience to be mayor, or they hadn't done enough. I was told that too. I was told that in City Hall by somebody I respect. And I was just like, oh, okay. But yeah, that they didn't have enough experience to, enough City Hall experience to be mayor. Got a mayor who don't have no City Hall experience, but he's not mayor. But that's nor here nor there. But that does speak to a larger problem in our community. So since I'm in the kitchen, can I keep it real with y'all? Let me know if I can keep it real with y'all. All right. Let me know if I can keep it real with y'all. The conversation, what was the conversation? Let me know if I can keep it real with y'all about what was the conversation from the residents of Acres Home? Oh, they baby, Tangy, they was like, no. They was like, no. It didn't go good. One of the residents who's my age, a professional business owner, he was like, I like her. Right. And so I do find a generational thing with that too. I have found that the older generation ain't feeling her. They feel like she need to do more. She's not genuine and all of this. People that I spoke to my age, I actually spoke to 3 people. I got 2 fingers up, but 3 people that I can think of off the top of my head. And they all from the north side, not all from Acres Home. But when they spoke about her, they were more reasonable with her as a candidate, but they are in the same generation. Okay. And Tangi said she was so out of touch with the community. I've heard that a lot. So let me go back to why I was excited, though, when she and Chris Hollins were running for mayor. I was excited because it was our opportunity as a community and in our culture to let people have a chance to do what they want to do and not make them wait. All right. Not make them wait, because we have, and I don't know where it comes from. And that's a conversation we're going to have about culture on the kitchen cabinet. We'll have to talk about culture, because in our culture, we always want people to go through a rites of passage. You know, they got to pledge, they got to do some time before they can shine. And I think we bite our nose to spite our face, right? Like we harm ourselves just to maintain a certain image. And I think it can be harmful to us when we put people through that. And then we get an attitude and say, well, the young people don't want them. The young people ain't doing this. They ain't doing that, because you don't let them. I've experienced that. I've experienced that at home. I've experienced that in Houston. I had to tell somebody, I just look like this. I ain't that young as y'all think, right? But you all don't give people an opportunity, and you call them disrespectful because you're talking to an adult is talking back to you, and you don't like it, right? And that happens so much. That happens so much in our community. Now, what does that mean about Amanda's electability or her role in the community, right? Because someone could say, well, I don't never see you in the community. I don't see you doing this, you doing that. But if you use my name in conversations, people be like, yeah, she'll write this for you. She'll do this for you. You know, she come drop off money. She make phone calls. She does fundraisers. I don't do things for clout. So there's some who have cameras behind them. And Amanda said this Saturday, you know, everybody don't have the news media running behind them when they handing out an air conditioner or a turkey, you know. We know how that is, right? But then there still should be people in the community who can speak to your work for you. And I think that's what Tangi's alluding to here. Do you see her in the community when there's not an election? That is something I was told from a resident from Third Ward. Oh my gosh. So I think that's what hurts Amanda. Even if the not if the even if the precinct chairs were not making this decision on Tuesday, if it were up to the voters, I think these type of comments and thoughts that I'm sharing and that is displayed on the screen, I think those are the things that hurt Amanda in this race or any race, arguably, since her departure from City Hall. That's not to say that she is not qualified. That's not to say that she would not be a good elected official. This is just what people share. Again, I would vote for her if she was the candidate. I would. I believe she would do a good job. Now, out of all the candidates on that stage yesterday, she's the only one who has worked on the Hill for the Congresswoman, so she does have that experience. But as someone said, well, I get to that later. I'm not going to even go there yet. Okay. So Tanya said exactly. So Amanda, so that's where Amanda Edwards is. Now, do I think she's going to get some votes on Tuesday? I think there will be about 88. That's the number that keeps being thrown around. 88. All right. Of the 88 precinct chairs who will make this decision, what amount, y'all put in the chat, what amount of those votes do you think Amanda would get? Just put those in there. Put AE and put the number of votes you think she'll get out of those 88. I'm just curious to see. All right. So that's Amanda. Gotta be careful here on Facebook. I'll go back to my notes. All right. So Amanda, the next person I want to talk to, and I'm gonna kind of flip between the more popular candidates and the least popular to give it a balance. Okay. Lachelle says she's going to get about 10. All right. So the next candidate I want to talk about is Robert Slater. And the reason why I'm going to talk about him is because he did run for Congressional District 18 for the primary, but he stepped out of the race, as he said, to step aside to help usher the Congresswoman to victory. I'm going to just say this. It is shade, but it's out of love. Bruh, she did not need you to step aside to be ushered to victory. She was going to win. The moment she got in that race, she was going to win. I'm just keeping it real. I'm not shading you. I'm just shading the comment. She was going to win. Like, come on. Like, the only way Sheila Jackson Lee is not in Congress is if Sheila Jackson Lee is not on earth. She is departed. That was the only way. So she didn't need you to usher her into victory. But I loved it when you said it because it was cute. I thought it was warm. It was a warm statement, right? It was. But bro, come on. You have to usher her to victory. She was gonna get that anyway. All right. But let's talk about Mr. Slater because I liked him. I liked a lot about him. I like that his focus is, and I apologize, I didn't put Amanda's name up while I was talking about her. So I apologize. I think it was the excitement. So Robert Slater, though, I like him because he speaks about recidivism. He speaks about he speaks on 2 points that I think deserve to be spoken on more and more. And that is business development or vocational development, right? As well as recidivism, focusing on how to stop that revolving door in our criminal justice system, right? So if you know me, you've ever listened to one of my lectures, y'all know that when it comes to social justice, criminal justice, our criminal justice system, that I'm an advocate for constitutional protections and for rehabilitation, right? Because I believe that if you give people opportunities, they will improve themselves. But if they don't have any opportunities, they're just going to do whatever they can to survive. And that's just basic human nature. Nevertheless, Robert Slater, he is what we would call a newcomer in this sphere of politics. So I think that hurts him. People don't know him. They don't know his work yet. They don't know his character yet. I myself, not familiar. I made a phone call because I want to be fair, right? I made a phone call, met somebody new, and learned about him real quick. And I look forward to learning more. But I think that what will hold him back on Tuesday or even in the next race is his newness, not his youthfulness, but his newness in terms of what do you do? How do you show people what do you do? When like, and people are looking for that. You don't have to be 60 years old to have a body of work. So people are going to be looking for his body of work. And I'm going to tell you now, his body of work is going to be around recidivism and about business development. He is an entrepreneur. And so a lot of what he spoke about yesterday related to entrepreneurism and building from that standpoint. For example, on the issue of the economy in Congressional District 18, Slater said he would invite the private sector in to invest in small businesses. He said people want opportunities, not just jobs. So I'm not making this up. This is what he said because I was typing as we were going, right? Those are all my notes. And to be fair, since I didn't do this for Amanda Edwards, she said something similar. She said economic opportunities, supporting small businesses, eliminating disparities in business lending. And both of those were great points to be made. Now, I'm not going to read all these notes on what everybody said on every issue. I'm not going to do that. You can find them. I can drop them in here. Or matter of fact, I will drop them. Lachelle, can you copy those from my page and just drop them in the comments? I know it's a lot. If you could just drop it and then it'll be there for whoever go back and watch it. I don't know. But if you don't want to, don't worry about it. So I think that is Slater's, that's going to be his difficulty. That's going to be the hard part for him, his body of work. Not that he doesn't have one, not that he's not developing one, but people need to see it because when they see it, they understand your character, they trust you, then they can get behind you. Just going to call it what it is. And I think that we'll see more of him in the future. So yeah, so that's Robert Slater. Any questions about that? I'm acting like I'm in class talking about any questions about that. I wanted to share one more of the things he said that stood out. So on issue 3 was issue 2 was education. Issue 3 was Harris County jails overcrowding and understaffing. So Amanda Edwards was talking about continuing the fight for the George Floyd Act, continuing that legacy of work that the Congresswoman had already started. And she spoke on criminal justice reform, prevention through education, adequate funding. Slater said Recidivism Act. He wants to see a Recidivism Act where I think he said he had written something, if I'm not mistaken, but pay into a system that protects those who have been in, give them space to help themselves through opportunities. I would love to hear more about that, his vision for that, if there's a website where we can learn more about that. But I think he is going to be good for whatever he wants to do. But I think he'll be good as he continues this work, as he continues creating, so to speak, around recidivism. I just think that's a strong platform. It's a very much needed platform. And so I look forward to learning more about him and what he's got going on in that space. Next up, I'm going to go ahead and get this out the way, and that is shade. And it's shade, but it's also genuine. Christina Morales, she, like Mr. Slater, I don't think they are going to be the candidates. I don't think they're going to. Now, I think she'll get more votes than him as for on Tuesday, but I don't see her as a front runner. So Amanda Edwards is one of the front runners to me. So I'll say that she is. There are 3 people that I believe are front runners, and I'm going to talk about them. So you're going to keep hearing me say Amanda, because as I get into this and I talk about the other 2, you'll see why. So Christina Morales, she is a state rep for the Texas House of Representatives. We have 150 of those. So she's one of 150 that makes up our state legislature of 181 people. She is, as she said, born and raised in not third, excuse me, that's a slip. Second ward. She runs her family business, so she's in the funeral home business. But everything she said was about education. Listen, I am a fourth generation educator, so I get it. I love education, but that is not the answer to everything. It just ain't. It just ain't. And I hate to break it to you, sis. You meant well, but that's not the answer. Is education important? Yes. Do we need education in all areas? Yes. But that wasn't the answer to everything. And it just made me feel like you came ill prepared yesterday. And she was very flustered through some of those questions. And a lot of them were easy. You know, she'll hear a question and it was like she was hearing the other responses. So she was giving her answer in response to the other responses instead of in response to the question being asked. And the problem with that is, are you going to listen to your constituents, the ones making the question, the request? Or are you going to listen to everyone else who you're not serving? That was my thing with her. Now, I know I have friends, I've phone calls, texts, and everything else about Christina Morales. Some of it shade, well, a lot of it shade. A lot of it was around this being a historically Black district. Now, does she make an argument that it does have a large Latino population? Absolutely, it does. Absolutely, it does. However, it's still a historically Black district. And you got to know who your audience is. And so she sat in that very Black room and arguably continue to dismiss Black people. I don't know how y'all took it, but I was listening to the audience and the people below me, the grunts. That's why I have to sit away from people because I get distracted. I had to sit up. But like I got two people in the comments. I didn't see her as much for the ledge session. Nope, didn't see her working in the legislature session. I put both of these up. And these two women, they're tapped in, right? But I heard what she was saying yesterday. And what that told me was, you're going to, if you are dismissive to us in our face, if you were to have the opportunity to go to DC, you would certainly dismiss Black residents of CD18. And that's the problem. So you're out of touch. Can a Latina or Latino person or Spanish speaking person or Hispanic, because anyway, could someone from that community represent Congressional District 18? Absolutely. But it would have to be someone that people trust, someone who engages the community in a way that makes the community feel like you're bringing them along. And what she was saying yesterday did not lend itself that she would bring us along. And there is a large Hispanic or Latin community in Congressional District 18. I think what she could have done to bridge that and to speak to that was, had she talked about the large Afro-Latina population in Congressional District 18. Because see, then people can relate to that, right? They can lean into that, particularly in Fifth Ward. It has the largest, if not the largest in the country, it is definitely the largest in the region, population of Hondurans, many of whom are Afro-Latina. See, she missed that whole opportunity. I ain't even from here and I know this. She missed that whole opportunity. All right. So here's something, and I'm going to get to Tangie, get out my notes, but I'm going to go ahead and share it. The seat was designed for the late Barbara Jordan. The legacy should remain the same, in my opinion. All right. All right. And I'm going to talk about Barbara Jordan here shortly. Thank you for that. And I am a graduate of the Barbara Jordan and Mickey Leland School of Public Affairs over at the historic Texas Southern University in the heart of Third Ward in Congressional District 18. So Christina Morales, is she electable for Congressional District 18? No. Is she electable? Yes, she's an elected official. So yes, she is electable. But this audience, she missed it. She missed it, and she was wide open to take the jump shot. And instead of shooting the ball to the hoop, she threw it over to the people in the stands. Like she just missed the whole thing yesterday, repeatedly. And these you don't have to trust me. Just go back and watch the footage. Be like, whose question is she answering? All right. Let's see. Next, I want to go to Dr. Cortland Whitcliffe. Now, in my notes yesterday, I misspelled his name, and I misspelled his name a couple of times. I think I went back and corrected it, but it was because I could not understand how it was being pronounced. It was from where I was seated, it was muffled, not just for him, but for others. So if I didn't know their name, I was misspelling it because I was going off what I was hearing. Nevertheless, he is impressive as hell, y'all. I looked that man up. He is impressive. He is smart. He's brilliant. He's smart AF. Okay. But he's so smart. He's too smart. He's so smart that his engagement is way up here instead of right here where the people can relate, right? So if I was talking off camera and I was talking here, you would not be able to connect with me, right? So he's missing this part of the conversation. Is he qualified? Absolutely. The brother is brilliant. You hear me? Like his resume is so extensive. That's why I made sure I put some respect on his name. I put doctor. I don't know if anybody else got a title, but he doctor. He earned that. He's a JD PhD and an engineer. So he's a lawyer. He's an engineer. Let's deal with the engineering part, right? So he's smart. He's smart as heck, right? And that's great. That's great. And he does great work with his smart ass. He works at Rice University. He's a provost of, I want to say academic affairs or something else. He's so brilliant. I cannot wait to meet him. And Brother Whitcliffe, I am going to be reaching out academic to academic. Like I'm going to be leaning in, right? But he shapes his campaign around the legacy of his family. I believe one of his uncles has served in Houston's political culture. You got to remember, I'm not a Houstonian. Not a Houstonian. We'll talk about that later. I'm not a Houstonian by birth. I'm Houstonian by choice. And I think that's an incredible thing to choose Houston. All right. Drink some water. So, someone said he's unrelatable to the people who live in Congressional District. Yeah, I'm about to be an hour in. Damn it. I got to hurry up. He's unrelatable to the people who live in District 18. Some he's unrelatable to. I mean, some he can relate to, but I think majority, his conversation would just have to come down some. Not, as people say, dumb it down. I don't mean dumb it down because Black people are not dumb. We're not dumb, but we need to be engaged in a particular way. And his engagement just does not connect. He, like I'm an academic. I can't always speak like an academic. You know, sometimes I just got to talk like I'm your cousin and we sitting around the kitchen like we're doing right now. Lachelle said he won't get any votes. Lachelle, not any? Don't do that. Don't do that. But that's something that it will serve him in another capacity for another elected position. I think that I know you're not saying that, Tangi. I know you're not saying that we're dumb. I'm just saying for him, I don't want him to feel like he has to dumb it down because we're not dumb people. But he's going to have to engage us more relaxed. I think it's too tight. It's too buttoned up, right? It's too buttoned up, bro. We need you to what is that? Loosen up the tie, take off the blazers, take off the jacket, take the shirt out the pants, relax. You're at home now. Be amongst family and talk to us like you care about us. Don't talk to us like we're an opportunity for you. Not that he was talking to us like we're an opportunity, but for some people, that's how it felt. And again, that's because I've asked people how they felt about it. All right. But Dr. Cortland Whitcliffe, what I like about him, because I could talk, you know, it's easy to talk about what you don't like, but let me talk what I like about it. I do like his brilliance. I do like that he's focused on bringing the private sector in to help support programs and opportunities for the community. And I think that's not just something that he wants to do. From what I've seen, that's something that he's already doing. And I think that's an area for us who are just being introduced to him, community organizers, those of you who run nonprofits and groups around youth, particularly STEM. That's an opportunity for you to build relationship with him. This is the power of what we can do with what we saw yesterday. That's an opportunity for us to build relationship with him. You know, Rice does a lot in the community. We see Rice, we see the Kinder Institute through, you know, at Rice. That's an opportunity to bridge some relationships. So hopefully those who are listening, you lean into that. Again, that's a great opportunity. I think that his work around STEM is going to be huge. So I'm looking forward to seeing him. Lachelle, get out my head. She can see him on city council or state rep. I actually can see him as a state senator. I can see him as a state senator, and maybe not for 13 or 15. I would love for it to be 13 or 15. I don't know where he lives. I've lived in only 15. Well, I actually did live in 13. In grad school, I lived in 13. So I've lived in both 13 and 15. But I could see him as a state senator. Absolutely. Or on City Hall. I could definitely see him as an at-large candidate for City Hall. So, Doc, I'm looking forward to talking to you regarding academics, but also your community work. And I look forward to the very bright future that awaits you. All right, so let's see. Now we're getting into it. Next, we're going to talk about Jarvis Johnson. All right. So Jarvis Johnson, I know y'all like, why she ain't talking about him yet? He coming. So Jarvis Johnson, I like Brother Johnson. You know, he a cousin. He really is. He is a cousin. Everybody got a cousin like Jarvis Johnson, or somebody, you know, somebody that remind you of him. So he's relatable. He's smart. He's kind. He will cuss, and I'm with the shits. So I'm cool with that. And if that offended anybody, we in the kitchen. We at home. It's kitchen cabinet. But let me talk about Jarvis. Jarvis has served in multiple capacities, so he is electable, right? So we're going to talk about electability. He is electable. I think that he should not have gotten out of his House seat. He should have stayed in his House seat in the state legislature as a state rep and not have ran for Senate seat 15, Senate District 15 for the Texas legislature. I think that was a huge mistake. A huge mistake. I think it was a huge mistake on part of the party, the Harris County Democratic Party, kinda. Definitely a mistake on the part of precinct chairs, because precinct chairs need to know what their constituents are desiring. And they know that by engaging their constituents, not waiting for their constituents to engage them. But that's a whole other conversation, a whole other show. But I don't think he should have ran for Senate District 15. I think that was his mistake. And I know he's not going to be the nominee on Tuesday. I do think he's going to get a few votes, though, because he's probably going to get a few votes, right? Where does he go next? What does he do next in terms of public office? I don't know what that is. I don't know if he runs for the legislature again, or if he comes back to local politics. But I know we're going to see him again, but this won't be his seat. He won't be on that general election ballot November 5th for Congressional District 18. All right. Now, Mayor Sylvester Turner. All right. Mayor Sylvester Turner. You see how I'm calling his name, Mayor Sylvester Turner. He is Mayor Turner, right? It's hard to just say Sylvester Turner. No, that is Mayor Turner. Mayor Turner, let me read from my notes. That way I don't get myself in trouble. Okay, nobody say she said. Well, first of all, they can because they can go back and replay it. All right. Before Saturday afternoon, I felt like this nomination, this election was Mayor Turner's to lose. Okay, I did. Before Saturday. And I said that on record with Darrell here the other day. Like, it's his to lose. It is. It's his to lose. He is passionate about Houston. He loves Houston. He's committed to Houston. And I don't think that we should take for granted just how passionate he is about the city of Houston, because he is. But these are the things working against Mayor Turner. What's working against Mayor Turner is Mayor Turner's words. And I'm going to give you an example of something he said. If you were listening, you caught it, you know I'm going with this. But Mayor Turner does have a strong history and experience as an elected official, and he's a true champion for Houstonians. Don't get me wrong, he is. But Mayor Turner, I don't want this seat to take Mayor Turner from us. Now, what do I mean by that? I don't mean that it takes him from Houston to Washington, D.C. Mayor Turner just fought and was victorious over cancer. What we know about cancer is, and cancer treatments, that it can creep back up. We know that. But what we more so know about being an elected official, being a Congress member, being a member, not just a congressman, but a member of the House of Representatives, you be on the move. All right. It wears on you. It beats you up. You know, you're back and forth between your city and DC, and you're always fundraising because you're always running for office. Because your term is only 2 years, you're always running for office. Right after you get elected, you having a fundraiser because you're about to have to do it all over again. And you got the legislative sessions, and you got to come home to your constituents, and you got to go do this, and it wears on you. So I don't want this role to take Mayor Houston. Now I'm talking for me. I ain't talking for nobody else. I mean, I call him Mayor Houston, Mayor Turner. Lord have mercy. I don't want that to happen to Mayor Turner. And at the same time, I understand that this is his goal, right? Like, this is something he believes in. He, I used to always say when Sheila Jackson Lee retires, I ain't gonna be surprised if Turner be the next Congress member for Congressional District 18. I've said that for years. I'm not gonna read these comments right now. I'm just gonna talk. So the problem with Mayor Turner is people are questioning his health. I'm not questioning his health. I believe in the healing power of God, so I do believe he is healed. And I'm not calling into question. What I'm saying is the role is going to beat up on him, and he should not have to suffer his career ending through more of what he just went through. So that's a concern. That is a concern. He's also older. I've said it once, I've said it twice. I want somebody under 50 if we can do it. simply because they're going to be in office a while. I know everybody talking about, yeah, I support term limits. Said nobody ever for real. People tell you what you want to hear. But I just don't know that's going to be good for the district. Someone who is over 65 running to be our member of Congress, and someone who's recently just fought cancer. I just don't know that that's the person to lead us in Congress, because we don't need a 1 or 2 term Congress member. We just don't. We need somebody who can go in there and do some work for at least 5 terms, which is 10 years, to be effective. And what I mean by effective is to get to a point of seniority. Hello, somebody in the House. And that's something that I think that we forget, because we get, we get to be fans of people, or because we know them, or that's my cousin. See, that's why I love being a Houstonian, not from Houston, because I don't come with all those biases. I could buy into some of them, but I don't come with them, right? And so when I talk to people, and I've talked to people, particularly mentors, parent figures, older people, they like him because they know him. He's familiar. He's safe to them. Not talking to us younger folks, because I know how y'all feel. To people who not from Houston, they love him because of, his orate, when he speaks, he speaks at these conferences, and people come to town, or he travel, like, y'all have heard Mayor Turner speak. He can galvanize a room, right? And so people love him. I love him, right? But people think that that's enough. They're not looking at the longevity of it. So I'm speaking from the longevity standpoint. Do I think that he could win, that he will win, that he will get the nomination? I do not doubt that he will have the most votes on Tuesday. I do not doubt that. I do not doubt that, right? I would be surprised if he did not. Let me say that. Will I vote for him if he's on the ballot? I'll vote for any of these folks we talking about tonight, if they the name on the ballot. Let's be clear on that. Okay. But Mayor Turner, could put us in a predicament that I don't think people are thinking about, because he said it himself that he would do no more than 2 terms, if I'm not mistaken. So where does that put him in age? And where does that put us in Congress in terms of seniority, CD 18? It means seniority impacts which committees you're serving on, how you're serving on those committees. Are you chairing those committees? Like, all of those things come into play. So for him to say he would serve no more than 2 terms, that's 2028. We back at the Olympics again, and he'd be on his way out. So that's something that we have to think about. And the thing is, a lot of people heard that, but they did not hear him. They heard that, but they did not hear him, because their minds were already made up. But as voters, and those of us who are residents of Congressional District 18, y'all better get on the phone with y'all precinct chairs and don't let them get no sleep these next 48 hours. Hello, church. Hello, lights. Okay. Because I think people are not going to be thinking about longevity. They're going to be thinking about their friend, the mayor, their homeboy, the mayor, their cousin. Oh, me and the mayor go way back. He came to my daughter's wedding. He married me and my spouse. He did this, Y'all know how we do, because we like how it feel. We like feel. But that ain't it. All right, next one. Let me make sure I said all I needed to say. Let me check my notes. So before I transition. So yesterday, Mayor Turner said something that stuck a period. This it for me. He stuck a period in his career as an elected official. In my opinion, no, as an elected official, that was headed to Congress. Let me add that. Let me be clear, because I really meant as far as Congress. He spoke on the importance of seniority, but also said he'd serve only 2 terms if elected to Congress. And that for me is it contradicts, right? When we look through the lens of how our federal legislature demands members to serve and lead, he's told us that he will lead, but he's also showed us that he will only serve and lead for so long. And when we think of seniority, we need him for more than that if it's going to be him. Is it going to be him? Probably. I'm 99.999999999% confident it's going to be him, and I will be checking yes, or you know what I mean. I'll be voting for him in November. Howsoever, there is somebody. There is somebody. Hello, lights. Hello, church. Hello, comment section. There is somebody that is ready on day one. This girl could run for, this woman. I apologize. I should not say this girl because we don't do that to men. This woman could run for whatever office she wanted to, and I would think she would be ready just about anyone, unless it required certain qualifications that she is yet to gain. But Carisha Rogers, let me talk to Carisha. Y'all listen, I'm talking to Carisha. Carisha, and I'm saying it like you, Carisha, because I'm from Florida, so I'm saying it like Carisha, city girl Carisha. But Carisha, I don't think we have ever met. But if given the opportunity, I would tell you I would work vigorously to support your bid for Congress. I would raise money for you. I would knock doors. Because, girl, let me tell you, I'm going to pop my mouth. You are highly impressive. And I know some of y'all are going to be like, she doing too much. I'm in the kitchen, y'all. This is where we relax. We have real conversations. We keep it 100. Carisha is ready. She's an organizer. She can galvanize. She's knowledgeable. She has relationships. You know, one of the first things she said when she was introduced herself, she was like, y'all might not know me, but I want you to know most of these people on this stage know me because I've helped them get where they are. She didn't say it quite like that, but I'm just translating it for you. Everybody on that stage, just about, as far as elected officials, know who she is. They probably have worked with her and depended on her in some capacity. I've spoken to people who do grassroots, who do organizing, and her character from them is A1. It's A1. But electability with the crowd on Tuesday, they're not going to vote for her. They can't hear her. One, they're going to say she's too young. And that's where I'm going to go back to Amanda. We're not supposed to say someone's too old because that's disrespectful. But as younger people, again, I ain't as young as I used to be. Young people are never old enough. Even though they qualified according to the Constitution, they're never old enough, or they need more. They need more. So by the time they can do something, they old as hell. Anyway, unless they just say, I'm not asking for permission, I'm just going to do it. And that's the vibe I got from her. We're not asking for permission. You know, we celebrate members of Congress and other leaders around the country when they're young and they're going, you know, we're like, woo, 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 squad and everything else. Not that y'all fans of the squad. I'm just using that as an example. But when it's someone in our own community, we go through all these things that, okay, have you checked this box? Or what about this box? Oh, what about this box? And we're even harder on them when they are women, right? It's one thing to be young, but to be young and a woman, oh man, it's a whole different ball game, child. They on your head, on your head. So Carisha Rogers, yes, gatekeepers. There are a lot of gatekeepers. Carisha Rogers, baby girl. I don't know if you got a praying grandmother. If you do, you need to have a pray. Because if you get this nomination, hello, lights, if you get this nomination on Tuesday. Now, I don't think you will, but if you do, we have our member of Congress for the next 25 years. And by the time she retires, she will be just at 56 years old. Y'all hear me? 25 years from now, she will be under 60. Do y'all understand that? Because she's 30. And I don't even know if she would want to serve in the House of Representatives that long. From what I've seen about her, she has so much more she could do. And I've been on my Googles, I've been on my phone learning more, but my discernment, because I'm not a praying grandmother, but I'm a praying woman. And my discernment tells me that she is the real deal, like for real, for real. She's young, she's fresh, she's knowledgeable. She doesn't come with the typical resume, but the people with the typical resumes lack what she has on hers. She's a true organizer. There's a book by Chinua Achebe called A Man of the People. She is a woman of the people. She is what we need. She is what we deserve. And she is the future. So Carisha, this is a love letter to you, sister to sister. I hope you receive this. I want you to have your flowers. But baby, when you get ready to run for your next race, because these gatekeepers ain't gonna let you have this one. When you get ready to run for your next race, call me. I am not hard to find. Call me. Let's talk. Let's get organized politically. Let's get a team together from head to toe to get you to where you want to go, because you have that it, your spirit has that it that the community needs. And I want you to blow our minds. I want you to make the naysayers swallow their spit and be like, I was wrong. Now I'm going to talk about it. Because you deserve your flowers. I love young people. You are young people. You're 30 years old. You have the audacity. And that's what make them mad. You got the audacity to run. Who she thinks she is? Carisha, Miss Rogers to you. You are doing God's work in the community. I want to know how I can support you in the work that you're doing today. But I also want you to know that whenever your tomorrow comes and that day comes where you're like, this is what I'm setting out to do and this is what I'm going to do, I'm Team Carisha. And like, you can call us the city girls because I'm be down with you. And I don't want to be shady to JT because I like JT, but I'm down for you. And I want you to not let the harshness of the gatekeepers frustrate you. I don't want you to let it stress you. I know you don't let it control you, or else you will be in this race. So I'm marking my words a special way on purpose. But I want you to know that as harsh as it is, they actually mean well. They just don't know no better. But we can show them better than we can tell them. And so I'm going to help you show them better than you can tell them. I'm so proud of you. I had to get out of there yesterday because I had other things to do. So as soon as y'all finished, I left. But had I had time, I would have came up to you and I would have told you this. But I think it's even more appropriate for me to put it on record so other people can lean in and learn more about you. But I want you to know that you deserve your flowers and you have a bright future in whatever you want to do. And there are people like me who are ready to support you and who are ready to lean into their networks across this country or even globally to assist you to get to where you're going. And it's going to take some, what is it? What I want to say? It's going to push and pull with you. So some of the stuff is going to be uncomfortable, but it's going to be all for your benefit and all for his glory. So I want to congratulate you for being who you are as an organizer, but more so, I want to congratulate you for having the audacity, the will, and the courage to run for this seat. And you will be the Congresswoman for Congressional District 18. It might not happen in 2024, but it's going to happen. And when it does, I'm going to be right there cheering for you because I believe in you are what we've been waiting for. It's just some of us are still asleep. So they don't realize that what we've been waiting for is here because they're snoozing. But that's okay. You ain't going nowhere. So when they wake up, you'll still be here and you'll be ready and they'll be ready too. So congratulations to you in advance. I'm so proud of you. Ladies and gentlemen, that is my endorsement. I believe Carisha Rogers is the perfect candidate for Congressional District 18. She's different. She doesn't come in the box. She's not wrapped the way we would want a person to be wrapped. You know, we have these mental designs of what a congressperson should look like. You know, she's not Sheila Jackson Lee. She's not Barbara Jordan. She's Carisha Rogers. You know, does she respect those women? Absolutely. Can she walk in their footsteps? Yes, she can. She can walk amongst them. I believe that much. Just in y'all don't understand the way what I felt, like the discernment that came over me yesterday and the conversations that I've had since about her. Like she is it. She's it. She might not be your it today for 2024 because your mind is already made up. But if you took the stigmas and the typical expectations out of the way and looked at what the community deserves and what the community needs, the type of leader and the type of longevity so that we can get that seniority, it's Carisha. Carisha, you're going to run again for Congressional District 18. You're going to run again. Because, see, I've been asking somebody would they run because I've been looking for a young candidate. And I've been asking people would they run and they waiting because they wait for somebody else to tell them that they should. You're not listening to gatekeepers. Baby, you got the key. You already know the story of David. David didn't look like what he carried. You don't look like what you carry. My God. I'm gonna get off this stream. Carisha, girl. Matter of fact, I hope we get Carisha, the city girl, to even plug you. Like, this is going to be so phenomenal when you become our Congresswoman. I am so excited for you. I'm so excited for your future. Do not let anyone discourage you. Do not let them water you down. When they water you and they think they water you down, they're trying to drown you. You be like a good plant and you just keep growing. You keep blooming right in front of their face, girl. You are our future. You are our future. I'm so hyped about it. Peace out, y'all. That is it for the kitchen cabinet tonight. I got much to make. If you want a copy of my book, it is available on Amazon today for purchase. So if you would like a copy of that, please feel free to purchase that. It's right there in the background. That is a sponsor of the kitchen cabinet for right now. I'm my own sponsor, but it has been a pleasure. Again, congratulations to all of the candidates for having the willingness to serve. I think I felt really good about those who were on the stage. There are more who were not featured in the forum yesterday. But again, Tuesday night, the decision will be made. Nominations will be Tuesday at Wheeler Avenue Baptist Church, located in the heart of 3rd Ward at 6 p.m. Get there early so you have a seat. If you are a resident of Congressional District 18, please contact your precinct chair. For more information about these candidates, you can visit harriscountydemocrats.org/CD18. And actually, I think it pops up on the homepage. But to learn more about the candidates, you can visit there. And you can check them out on social media. But again, Carisha girl, I'm proud of you. I'm proud of all of you. Amanda, I love you, girl. Keep working. Keep doing what you're doing. Mayor Turner, much respect to all of the candidates. But there's something special about Carisha, and I'd encourage each of you in your own capacity, and I'm talking to the other candidates, to get ready to support her and get behind her the same way you did the Congresswoman, because she's going to need your support. She's going to need your experience. Mayor Turner, that is someone you can mentor, or at least introduce her to opportunities, leadership institutes that you're aware of. Help her get sponsorships to go to, what is that? I can't even think of the name of it. It's at Yale, but some of these academies for people who desire to run for office. But we need the community of leaders. Mayor Turner, now I got to do this. Mayor Turner, I want to see you do a leadership academy or institute, like for real. That's your legacy. Develop these young leaders, help them not be your mentees or minions, because that's what some people are going to say. Thank you, Yale Campaign School. But help them make connections in these larger institutions, these larger foundations, get the training and resources that they need so that they can run healthy campaigns. You have been successful at running campaigns. You could really leave an even greater legacy. You're going to have a great legacy, but an even greater legacy by shaping opportunities for future leaders, for our future generation. And that starts with those young leaders of today. You guys, it's been great. It's been great, but I got to go. I got to cook. Not cook, but I need to make these salads. I already cooked my chicken and make this chicken salad. Peace out. See y'all next time. Subscribe.